Christine is with us in Long Island, New York. Hi, Christine. Welcome to the EntreLeadership Podcast.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Dave.
Sure. What's up?
Okay. So I started a business about 3 years ago. I was actually in the podcast when it started to take off. You gave me great advice, of course. My business is basically I help nursing students pass nursing school, their licensure exam to become like a registered nurse. I'm a registered nurse myself. So I started the business about 3 years ago. I guess 3 years ago during COVID. Yeah, like I said, it's continuing to take off. Last year we grossed $8 million. We have 15 employees. Most days, honestly, I feel frustrated, because it seems like I'm the one who does everything the best. I'm the one who makes the most sales. I'm the one who connects with the customers the best. And it's just becoming too much to manage to be the face of the company and to try to run everything. I try to delegate and teach the multiple people we have. Honestly, even with teaching them, it doesn't really do the content doesn't do as well as when I create it. So just feeling very overwhelmed and defeated when it comes to delegation and just teaching my team.
It is hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
Way to go. $8 million. Look at you, girl. Boom, boom. So now let me make sure I get this. You are training nurses?
Nursing students. So I'm training them to be able to pass nursing school so that they can become nurses.
Okay. Like to pass their bars or to pass their classes?
Kind of both. Yeah, it's called the NCLEX. So we have flashcards, bundles, books, online resources. Yeah, to help them pass their exams.
Okay. All right. Wow. Interesting. I would have thought you would have just gone to school and learned how to pass your classes. I didn't know that you had to get. Yeah. So what do you charge for this?
It really depends. We have a book, which is our bestseller, and I think it's about $100. We have some different flashcards that range anywhere from maybe 50 to 80, depending on the class and the size.
And then the training that you had, that you're teaching, that some of your people aren't doing as good as you, costs what?
You mean my team members?
Yeah. Did you say you had team members doing training?
No, so they're not. Some of them are making content, social media content, and they're just helping, kind of execute it on social media. If that makes sense.
Okay, so they're putting content out there, not that is not a product type content, but is lead magnets. It's your marketing process through social media. I got you. Okay.
Right. So I have people help me make the content. I also have people help me do the lead magnets and the ads and things like that. So both for sure.
Okay. All right. I'm going to send you a copy of the quick read we just put out. It's a little short one chapter book on delegation. All right. And the thesis of delegation, I finally figured out right before it killed me, because I was just about to lose my mind. Okay. And like you are, I can smell the frustration, right? I get you. I thought I was a horrible leader because I wasn't delegating well. I wasn't a horrible leader. Now, delegation can only occur to the extent you trust someone's competency and their integrity. And what you told me is you can't trust their competency completely because their level of content production is less compelling than the content you produce. So their competency is not at a 10 out of 10, it's at a 5 or a 6, and you're putting stuff out 9s and 10s.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So what that is not a lack of delegation, that's a lack of training. And after being trained, if they can't get their game up, it's a lack of firing because you need to fire them if they can't do their job. That's not mean, but you can't keep incompetent people on the payroll that cannot, they don't have the capacity to get good enough to do their freaking job. That's their job to get, you have to get competent. Just like those nurses aren't going to pass that test if they don't get their competency up. You can't run around incompetent in this world and continue to call yourself a success unless you're in politics. And so but aside from that, that's the only way that I know you can get away with it. Maybe being a weather forecaster. Just kidding to you, my friends that are meteorologists. But yeah. So the thing is, so what you've got one of two problems. You've either got to do a better job of mentoring, discipling, training, and being very clear about what excellence looks like at your place and getting them up to that, or you're going to come to the conclusion that that particular team member is never going to get there because they just are not, they don't have the chops. They don't have the gray matter to pull it off, or they don't have the natural skill set in that particular thing. They were once on Facebook, now they think they're a social media expert. I've met a bunch of those, okay? I have a login, and so now I'm an expert. Because, I mean, most of Gen Z and millennial think they're social media experts because they've grown up with a freaking phone in their hand. It's native to them.
So true.
And so, and they're simply not. They're simply not. They don't know what compelling content is. Compelling content, whether you put it out, regardless of the format. So that's what you're looking for. So you've got some training to do, and or some rehiring to do to get the competency up. Because you didn't tell me you couldn't trust their integrity. You just said they were not up to par, right?
Right. I think it's teaching. I think it's hard because I'm trying to do my daily tasks. While teach.
And here's the problem with delegation. The problem with delegation is it takes up so much stinking time on the front end, but you're making like a deposit to the into the bank, and you're going to make your withdrawals later. And so when you're doing this training, it takes up your time when you could have actually been doing the post yourself. And but if the training is right, and then you kind of get it down where you can, okay, I can create another one of these with some training and some mentoring, and let's see what's working on these posts, which ones aren't working, and why are they working, why aren't they working, and it's the more of those, if you'll go ahead and invest in it, delegation is the thing that will give you the most joy from your business, because you're going to have quality people that you're proud of, and that you can turn loose and you can relax a little bit. But it's hard on the front end to get them there. It's worth it, though. Do it. It's worth it. So the fact that you don't delegate to someone, folks, if you're a business person, because you don't trust that they can do the job, because they haven't proven that they can do the job, that's not on you. You're not a micromanager. You're a wise business owner. A wise business owner, a wise business leader does not delegate to the incompetent. That would be a stupid but idea. Don't delegate stuff to somebody that's going to screw up your business. That's dumb. And so you're not a control freak. You're wise. And I used to think, I'm a control freak. I can't seem to turn loose anything. But I didn't have anybody at that point that I could turn loose that to. And the more complicated and the bigger the thing is that you're delegating, the harder it is to get the person up to the point that you trust their integrity and you trust their competency and you are ready to turn it loose at that point. It's easy to turn loose, though, when you completely trust the person, because you can get more work done and you cannot have to do things you don't want to do. It's really nice.